Let's now tackle a really advanced topic early on. Feel free to skip this video, but the question is how to create a more intricate a priori result. The thing is that we might want to end up with hundreds of results all at once. And let's say that 50 of them contain, in the Titanic's case, the survived yes somewhere in the result. Either it was on the then part of the sentence or the if part of the sentence somewhere in there. And now we would like to do such a thing that select only those association rules which have somewhere in their survived yes, or it could be in our market basket, it could be which has somewhere in there a specific good. So let's do that now and create a R custom component like right away. What do we need to do for that? Let's first go to the Titanic dataset, and what we have to do at first is our component is not going to be so complex that it's going to let us select like every other column. So let's do such a thing that we will delete the obsolete column here, the number of the person, which really contains no information for our association rule purposes, and let's leave the table just with 4 columns, the way we have it in informational form. So I'm going to save this file now, and next I'm going to go to SAP Predictive Analytics and do a file in new. I'm going to load the same file just in a second. So the file name is Titanic CSV. And it loads the file, and you can see only let's go to predict, and we have the data set in there. Let's now go and create a new algorithm. So it's algorithms and custom components. We want to create a new one. So let's press plus and press R component. Now, first of all, the name is going to be a priori subset, because we're taking out only those who survive from those rules which contain survived in the Titanic data set. And now it's going to be an algorithm. So the other options are data writer or something of the kind. And let's press next. Now we need to put in there the R program. So usually you are going to turn to a computer specialist for that. You tell him, like the IT specialist in your company, you tell him what the R script needs to do. And we have the R script here. So I'm going to really quickly go over what it does. It takes the data. So you don't really have to remember any of this, but I'll just quickly show how complex it is to create for an IT specialist. It selects the data. It says that the data initially is a data table, remember. It is not the transactions, which would contain like the transaction number and then the good purchased. It instead contains the entire table. So here we say that we want to turn this into transactions for R in the second line. The first line really loads the library, which or the element which creates our a priori. This one runs the a priori. This one takes a subset of the result, just a subset in which the if part contains the survived yes, and this one takes the other subset in which the then part contains the survived yes. And then it puts them together, and then it sends them back to the SAP Predictive Analysis tool. So what we do is we just copy this and we put it in there. So once the script has been prepared for us, it's just a matter of that. But there are a few more things. First of all, we have to say that my main is the function. So basically, if everything is prepared correctly, it's just gonna tell us that there is only one thing to be selected, and we will select that. Now, the next question is if this Titanic CSV down here on the left side is going to send data into information into our custom-made a priori program which runs R, then we have to say that my data is the part which is the information that comes from Titanic CSV, which means that if you look at this first line in here, it says that my main is the program, and it's called a function, and it contains such things that are sent to it. It's my data, it's a search string, it's a support and confidence. So we need actually those 4 parts, and we will say that my data is actually the data that comes from the Titanic CSV. The rest of them will have to, like the support level and the confidence level, will have to have the user give to the program ourselves. Search string lastly is the information like which we had, like survive equals yes. Now in the end here it says that output out is the result. So what we have to write in here is out. But usually these guidelines are given to us by the IT specialist as well. We won't check the visualization, summary, or option to save model. We'll actually look into that in another advanced video. So right now we're ready to click next. Now it actually is going to return to us all those rules. So the first option we check is output table definition. So the output of this R program, which is given back to us, is either going to take all the data that was given in and add something to it, like an additional information, giving us something further for every data row we fed into it from Titanic CSV, or it's going to consider none and just create something entirely new. So this is the case here. And now let's it's already telling us that since it's recognized that we need that search string, support, and confidence as things that go into this R program, then it says search string. Okay, we'll say that it is a text box, so we can write a text in here. Now support is also a text box but let's say that we can also click in here and say that show default value, so that we'll enter 0.01 as 1% for this default value, so it will always be displayed already. We don't give a default value for the search string because that might differ every time. For confidence, we also give a suggestion, so it's a default value which is 0.5. We've already seen these in the previous videos. And here we are. We've defined the parameters. So this down here is the stuff that goes in. And remember, these free, support, confidence, and search string, along with the my data, which was coming from Titanic CSV, these form what goes into the component. And what comes out is actually what we have to consider next. So we will know the output actually already. The IT specialist has told us that the first one to come out is the column called rule or rules. The second one is actually a number called support. The third one is also a number, but as it's a decimal number, I mean with decimal places, it's called a double here. Integer would be something that doesn't have decimal places, and date is not the case here. So it's a double again, and it's going to be called confidence. And the last one that's going to come out of it is a double as well, and it's going to be called lift. So now we've defined what kind of comes out of there, what goes in there. let's go back and check whether everything is okay here. We've also checked like what's the program doing. We've said that the my main up here is like the main thing that gets generated. My data is the stuff that comes from Titanic CSV. Out is the stuff that comes out, and this is pretty much it. So now we've created this custom component. It's going to be a priori subset is going to be the new one here. We click and drag it. And we put a CSV writer down its other end so that it's going to create, and I'm going to click on configure settings, and it's going to create the result rules.csv file nicely here. And now we go and configure that a priori component that we've created. So it's configure settings, and you see 0.1, 0.01 and 0.5 here already. And what we write in here is survived equals yes. Survived equals yes string. Now we're ready to run it. And now let's run the model, and it's gonna fetch us the results. They're right here as well, but actually the third is to take this result rules file in Excel, make them as wide as they have to be, and then go to lift and do data ZA. So that's one very good way of looking at lift mainly. So you can see some rules here. The number of here the survived yes is on the left hand side. Here the survived yes, for instance, is on the right hand side, or rather we call it the if part of the sentence. And then, so the first rule reads, if you were second class passenger and adult and you survived, you would have to have been a female. And this rule says that, I mean, it's true 85% of the time, but females survive. But females survived. I mean, 85% of the time when you were a second-class adult passenger and you survived, you were a female rather than a male. And let's read some more rules here. For instance, if you were in the first class, you survived, rather with a higher lift here. If you were, for instance, a child, you survived more frequently. This gives also a higher lift. But let's look at some. Confidence is 100%. If you were a second class passenger and child, they all survived. So for instance, so such rules we can take out from there.